everyone, and welcome back to Humble Acres. This isn't exactly how I wanted to start the video, but I have been clearing quite a bit of my property, as you can see back here, and from the drone footage, obviously. I found a new technique on how to do it, but the problem is I broke my tractor. So let me show you what happened. So I was pushing over all these trees and I went a little bit further in than I should have. What I've been doing is just pushing over like one row of them at a time, but I got a little crazy and I went way in there, and I'm assuming this branch got shoved up in the tractor and I lost a bunch of fluid. I wasn't sure. I honestly thought that maybe I cracked my radiator or something, and I was pretty disappointed. But the further I looked into it, what I found was that under here, there is a hydraulic pump or something. I assume this is a pump. And if you can see, that hose got ripped. But it's just a short little rubber hose. I assume it's like a return feed. So yeah, it's like a 3-inch long hose. I probably have one. So the clamps are still there. So I'm gonna take that off and replace it, and it should be fine. Quite honestly, there should be a plate underneath this. It's kind of crazy that there isn't. But also what happened is you can see that this whole thing got pushed up here, and that's a metal plate. And my release, oh, I guess the release does work still. Okay, well, that's good. So I'm gonna need to take the battery off and like hammer that back down or something. This was just kind of laying there, which this just kind of sits on there anyway. It actually looks fine. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with that. The battery tie down was laying on the ground. So I'm not 100% sure how that is supposed to go on there, but yeah, you can see these coolers all got shoved together as well. So I'm gonna bend this back down and then we should be good. But first, I need to replace that hose so I can drive it. I'm pretty sure as soon as I start it up, it's going to leak everywhere. Let's see if that just leaks everywhere. Oh yeah, that leaks everywhere. All right, so I need to replace that hose before I can start it back up. So let's go see if I find a hose. All right, well, I got the hose off here. So just a tiny short little hose. It's a lot smaller diameter than I thought. I got some hose pieces here, but these are quite a bit bigger, so I'm gonna have to go find a different one. And then one of the clamps got mangled up too. This one seems fine. It's a little bent, but it's just a low pressure line, so it's not too big of a deal. I probably have another one of these clamps too, so have to go find that. But you can see right there, that's just the little section that we need to hook up. So hopefully that's the only thing leaking. Cross our fingers, but I think that's all it's gonna be. So let's go find a hose real quick and get this put back together, and then probably drive it down to the house to try to fix the battery tray. I found another hose that's the same diameter, well, close. It's a little smaller actually. This one's also reinforced. Yeah, hopefully we can get on there. I'm just gonna cut it to length and then fit on there. And then I also found another clamp that's exactly the same. I got that on there. That hose is a little too small, and it's not very easy to put that on there. I really just need the other hose. It was nice that this bent up though, because it gave me a nice little view to be able to work on it. So that was really convenient. Hopefully we can drive it up to the house like this. It's not on the one side very far, but I was able to get the clamp halfway on. So we're gonna drive up to the house and try to straighten this plate back out. Hopefully I can get the hose on more. I might just have to order one, or I probably won't order one. I'll probably just go to the hardware store and see if I can find a hose that's the right diameter. Let's make sure we can start it and not blow the line off. It should be a low pressure line, but you never know. Come over to this side. I actually bent the exhaust right here. All right, it seems fine, so let's get back up to the house. So when this bent, it actually pushed the hood latch back and up a little bit. So the hood doesn't actually latch anymore. So that's an issue. It doesn't appear that it bent the hood at all, so that's good. So we just really need to just bend the front of this back down and we should be fine. So let's get this battery out of here and then see what we can do. I think ideally I would take this plate out of here, but yeah, I don't think that's an option. It's kind of weird. This is bolted on here, but then it's welded to back here, but then this is welded to this plate. So all of this support here is all one piece. I do have K-TAC insurance. I probably could contact them and they'd replace all this. I don't know if it's free. I think there is a small deductible, like $100 or something. I don't know if it's actually worth it. I think I'd rather just get a sledgehammer and batten that back down. Like that. Maybe a little more. I'm gonna bend that one up a little. There we go. None of them are touching, and I can get my grill guard thing back out now. So should be good. Probably should get the air compressor and blow all this out while I'm in here. I do see a little bit of stuff getting clogged. 12? Yeah. Perfect. That honestly could probably just stay there. Alright, get a piece of wood or something to hit that back down with. I mean, it's gotta go down like 1.5 2 inches, something like that. I think the best case is just set that there and hammer on it. There's not really any other way to go about doing it, so. That's pretty darn close. It might be the best we can do, but I honestly feel like that's close enough. Let's get the air compressor and blow all this out real quick. Shield your eyes. Well, that's way better than it was, right? I guess we'll get this stuff put back in here. And then get this hooked in here. Like that. I believe that is correct. Yeah. Okay. That should be good. Get the battery back in here. Wipe the battery down a little bit. Probably wipe this again. I got all dusty. Don't want dust on your tractor. Alright. Get this back in here. No, it's in there. Alright. Perfect. I need to figure out where the strap thing's supposed to go. Oh, it's supposed to go right there. Okay. Should be easy enough, because I think how it goes is it goes around the front right there. And these go back into these little holes here. That one I can probably slip in, and then this one I'm gonna have to, because it pulls it back against this little radiator here. Maybe I bent this too far forward. It's not rubbing now. Let's tighten this one down a little and see. I think that's good. You don't ever want to over tighten these, by the way. Just tighten them and then test them. See if they wiggle. If they don't wiggle, it's tight enough. All right, let's try and see if this lower part goes on. Oh, we need to put the grill guard back in first. Put this back in. Okay, let's see if this fits. It just slides right over these little pegs here and just sits there. There's nothing else fastening it down. It's kind of strange, but that's what it is. Fits like a glove. All right, let's close the hood, see if that works. Seems good. I wonder. No, it's sitting where it was before. So yeah, that's how it is. Good, we're all fixed. Except for that hose. We still need, I mean, it didn't leak at all coming up here, but I still want to try to get the right hose, I think, for it. I'm still amazed I haven't punctured a branch through my grill. I try to be very careful with it and everything, but yeah, I don't have a grill guard on here, but I have yet to actually hit it. I'm sure someday it'll happen, but I really do try to watch that more than what I do on the ground, but it's been working for me so far, but it probably will happen eventually. All right, so I took that hose that I had on there back off, and I put a fuel hose on there. So it actually fit over it way better, and I can get it on there all the way, and you can see it's still like flexible and stuff, which, oh, there's a screw I need to put back on that hard line back there, but yeah, so that's way better, and this line is way more flexible, which is nice because the other one was extremely hard to get on. But yeah, this should be good. But honestly, it'd almost be good to like tap some holes in the bottom of this and then just put a sheet of metal on there, because there's nothing stopping there from being a sheet of metal on there. Like, I could even use these holes here. There's just holes in the side here. I could just make it so the little things go up in there or around the outside, and then a bolt goes through, and then it would have a plate on there at least. It'd at least break that before it would like hit this plate up here or any of these hoses, because there's a lot of stuff going on there, and you break one of these lines and that's gonna, those hydraulic lines are expensive. So I don't know, I might look into that honestly, because bottom of this is, yeah. And also, these lines stick down terribly, and I'm pretty sure somebody makes a guard for these, because I mean, they're just so low. And I actually had, the last time, or when I changed my hydraulic fluid or whatever, the filters, I zip tied it right here like this to try to hold it up, but apparently that broke because, well, you know, it's broke. But yeah, these are just kind of in a terrible spot, and I know if I'm not careful, I'm eventually going to rip one of these off. I'm actually surprised I haven't yet. Alright, look what I did. You can see it's pretty much flat across the bottom. So this is definitely still the lowest point, unfortunately, but you can't really do much about that. But you can see that these are no longer hanging way down here. We got this bar to protect them a little bit. So yeah, they go up and over the fuel cross tube here. On this side, they come through here, and they're loose in here still, like there's plenty of room. So yeah, this comes through, kind of has to loop back towards where this one clamp is. I didn't use the other clamp because none of it really lined up for that. And then it goes right back to where it connected before with this zip tie. next to the filters here, and then it just goes up like it normally did. And then the other one comes down, and I actually put it on the other side of the filter here because that seemed to work better. And then it goes behind the filter here, and then it's kind of up and above in here, and then it goes over the tube here, the cross tube, and then it comes up and over here. And then this is the most complicated part right here, because you don't want to make this bend too much, but you don't want it to chafe against any of these metal edges. Like the top of this is open and these edges stick straight up, and they're not super sharp, but you don't want the hoses just resting on that. So like this one, I have zip tied to this bracket above it, so it's not actually hitting on anything, and it's actually a little loose on there. So that's what you want, is a little bit of play. This one is a little tighter because I have two zip ties. You can see I have two zip ties right there, and they're holding that on. So the back side of this right here is rounded, so that's a good surface for it to hit against if it needs to. You don't want it rubbing against the bottom here or the back of this. So it's loose in here and it can wiggle, but it's not hitting on the top because we're holding it up with these zip ties here. So I think that's gonna work out fine, and it's not rubbing. And you gotta watch out for this linkage here. This linkage is for your brakes, so you don't want anything hitting on that. So this hose is loose, there's a gap in between there, and this one doesn't come close to it, so it's fine. And then same back here, you gotta just make sure all your linkages are not going to hit anything. I'm actually very happy with this. I think this is going to be a lot better, and hopefully it'll protect them a little more. We will have to see. So I don't know if you noticed this, I flipped this mount over a little bit so it pulls it up as well. To get the filters off, I'm gonna have to take this clamp off and this zip tie over here off, but I had to do that before anyway, so it doesn't matter. And this way you only have one hose kind of in the way, but you just push it back or zip tie it back here. The other one just goes kind of on the bottom or around the back, but you really don't have to worry about it. It's not really in the way. So yeah, this video was meant to be working in the field, but I feel like it's more of a tractor video now. So I have a little bit of an idea. I want to see about replacing this toolbox because it's plastic and I tend to overfill it all the time because it's tiny, and I mean, there's just little plastic clips on there to keep it shut, and it's just really annoying. And the hinge is just plastic, like just, yeah, garbage. So I'm gonna put a bigger one here. I have this one here, but it's pretty big, and my worry is that it's gonna fill up this whole area. And when I'm stump grinding, I need to be able to see through here. Just to show you, I'm grinding. I turn around and I can look right down there. As long as it doesn't come over like any further than this, I'll still have a little sight to be able to see what I'm doing back there. You get this up here, we put it all the way over there. I mean, it would probably work. I wish it was a little shorter. Well, as you can see, a little bit has changed. I found this toolbox in my basement, so we're gonna use it because I figured it's got this slant right here, so that'll actually help with being able to see past it. And it's also like 2 or 3 inches shorter, so it gives me more room to see through here. So I got it put on there. I took the handle off the top because you don't really need that. And I mean, it's a little wobbly, but it's way better than what it was. I put a sheet of metal under here to help brace it a little bit, which quite honestly, it could probably use more. I was thinking maybe come off of this to like support it or something. I quite literally never use this. It's for the slow moving triangle thing. I'm gonna make something real quick that'll rest on the bottom there. All right, after much consideration and going back and forth on what to do here, and it's still shaking and making noise, this is something I'm probably gonna have to come back to at a later point. But hey, we got a bigger toolbox, and it should work just fine for now. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.